All right, looks like we are live. Okay, so we're live with Tish Talks. This is just a very impromptu live, which I asked my great friend John with Ida to do for us. And I had to bring this information to you because this just was released today. So, John, thank you so much for even allowing me to do this.
Absolutely, Tish. It's great to always talk to you. Thank you.
You are welcome. I know you have a lot of great information, so I'm going to just let you talk because released today, Ida's doing something different, and I wanted everybody to know about it. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. So I believe the screen is shared, but we have a brand new program that was just released today. So you'll probably be hearing about it and everything. We still have the other programs we had before, and I'm sure if you're dealing with Tish, you're familiar with them. But we have the brand new program. It's called HFA1. And not to give you too much info, but it was actually developed working with other states. Not to give you too much info, but it was actually developed working with other states. So, Tish, I believe you can lend in every state now, and I don't want to
yes.
misspeak, but you're going to be able to use very similar programs with similar docs with other states. So that's it was about a 3-year process working with other states. We released it today. It's called HFA1. HFA is a housing finance agency. IDA is an Illinois housing finance agency. Every state has one, at least one. But what the program does, it gives them a flat $10,000 in down payment assistance. It's deferred, meaning when they sell or refinance, they got to pay it back. No interest, no penalties. I always say it's like, I don't have one, but it's like going to that rich aunt or uncle, borrowing 10 grand to buy a house. When you sell or refinance, you give them the 10 grand back. No interest, no penalties, but it allows that borrower 10 grand to get in a house. I'd
Wow.
like to, and you want to add something? Go ahead, Tish.
It sounds good to me. I know I've used other IDA programs with my borrowers and 10,000 flat. Like, what do you mean by flat? Seriously.
That means it doesn't matter if they're buying a $50,000 house, which in today's market it's hard to find one, but it doesn't matter the purchase price. It is a flat $10,000 in assistance. So
Wow.
I'm not the lender you are, Tish, but they're looking at $100,000 house and say they're using FHA. You're the lender, so that's 3.5% down. That's 3,500. You have closing costs. They still get a flat 10 grand to use towards that. So in that instance, say our money covered everything. We have the one additional overlay. They have to put at least $1,000 or 1% of the purchase price into it. So in that scenario, they could get in the house with a little as $1,000 and use our 10 grand for that down payment and closing costs.
Wow.
So
That's
there's all
pretty
kinds,
awesome.
yeah, there's all kinds of ways, and I love to see how our programs, and Tish has been doing them years, but there's so many people out there renting so many years, making that monthly rent payment. Well, they had to come up with first month's rent, they had to come up with security deposit and all that good stuff. Where a lot of times, if they just talk to Tish, go over their situation so they know their mortgage ready, they can get in the house for what they put down on that security deposit and first month's rent. We have programs, there's other programs, but talk to Tish and see what's out there because there's so many borrowers that are scared. They don't know where to begin. And it's just
Mhm.
talking to her and see their mortgage ready. Because if they're not, what do I have to look at to see to get a mortgage ready? Maybe it's a couple things. Maybe it's a year process. Maybe their credit's not in shape, but if she could come up with a plan, you, Tish, come up with a plan to get a mortgage ready, and create
Definitely.
the information around, you know?
Speaking of, coming up with a plan, what type of credit does Ida look for?
Sure, absolutely. So you're going to qualify as, for mortgage. There's mortgage types and you're going to talk to them, FHA, VA, conventional, all of that. For assistance, we do require 640 score, that bar to have the 640.
Okay. Okay. And I hear a lot of people say, well, I don't think I make enough to get down payment assistance, or I make too much, or, they're not going to give it to me. How do you get over that?
Sure, absolutely. So on the screen here, and it might be hard to see, and I know there's small numbers. The way IDA is, we changed about 3 years ago. We only have to count the income from the borrowers on the loan. So if you studied up 4 or 5 years back, you had to include your non-borrowing spouse, the grandma living in the house, right? A lot of multi-generational homes, the 20-year-old working. We switched that, I think it's about 3 years ago. We only count income from the borrowers towards these limits. So if you're looking at Cook County, Kane, Lake McHenry, the income limit is 125 grand a year. 125,040 to be exact. But if you have a borrower, there's only one borrower in the loan, they make $120,000, they would still be under IDA income limits. As far as minimum income, right? That's going to be what they can qualify for. So there's no minimum. There's plenty of people on fixed income, Social Security, or whatever. It depends what other debts they have, how much house they're going to qualify, and that's Tish's job. But there is no minimum income. It's just what can they qualify for. So there is no minimum. There is a max, but it is pretty moderate income. We're low to moderate. Low to mod is, IDA or an HFA, but it is pretty moderate income. So a lot of people, they don't think they can qualify for it, and they really can. Also, I'll mention on that piece, not to just jump around, in case those that don't know, IDA, it's always, first-time home buyer, first-time home buyer. None of our programs currently, you have to be a first-time home buyer. So say, I like to use a case, say someone owned a house and they went through a divorce, right, with their spouse, and maybe they want to buy a new house. Well, they're not a first-time home buyer, right? They just got divorced, and maybe the other spouse took the house, or maybe it's sold. They're not a first-time home buyer. A lot of times they won't qualify for programs. But for IDA, you don't have to be a first-time home buyer. So it's nice for those borrowers that aren't first-time home buyers. They can use it.
That's awesome. Pretty awesome. So, just a quick overview: 640 score, meeting the limits, can do FHA, VA conventional. And one other thing we need to mention, that the access programs, they're still around. Like, they're still there. People can still take advantage of them as well, right?
Absolutely. Say, what's nice about the 10,000, we talk to scenarios, right? A lot of people are tight on Monday. Also, in case those that don't know, with IDA, you can put down more than the 3 or 5% that's required, the 3.5, whatever type of loan. You can put down 20%. So maybe that 10 grand will help them to get that 20% down on a conventional loan. Maybe they have no MI. So there are all kinds of programs. The other program that will be popular, this is 10 grand, but the Access Forgivable. All the three programs are available, but Access Forgivable gives you 4% of the purchase price, maxed out at $6,000. So what that means is they're buying a $100,000 house, they're going to get $4,000 in assistance, 150 purchase price or above, they're going to get 6 grand. But that's forgiven over 10 years, meaning every single month they're not making a payment. $50 gets forgiven if they get to 6,000. And if they don't sell or refinance, they don't have to pay any of that back. Whereas the flat 10,000, they will have to pay that back when they sell or refinance. So the access programs are still out there. They just, our operations team and, executive team really worked with a bunch of other states to develop a program. It's going to vary a little state to state, but whereas a lender such as yourself that, operates in multiple states can roll it out in multiple states easily. So that was the main goal of rolling this out.
Yes, I'm excited about it. I can't wait to create more homeowners using it, and I'm just excited that you guys even offer this help. So that's huge.
Yeah, it's great. Like you say, you see it every day, and you get to help home buyers every day. And it'll be 10 years this year, and I just see so many people utilize a program where they never thought they could own a home. Right?
Right.
There's a big misconception out there. You need 20% down. You could talk all day about that, Tish, but it's just sometimes, some people might be a veteran. They get 100% financing, right? And they can still
Hmm.
use that to help with their closing costs. So
Right.
there's all kinds of ways. So reach out to Tish. If you're scared or whatever, I don't know the first thing, utilize a professional. Reach out to her, and she'll let you know. Some people it takes time, but she'll definitely let you know.
Thank you. Thank you. And can you show us that overview screen, the green screen, really quick, one more time?
Absolutely. There we go.
Again, 640 score, down payments as low as 3% on a conventional loan. Like you said, that's totally huge. That's amazing. And you could be a first time home buyer or a repeat buyer. How does that work?
So what that means is, like I use the, someone going divorce, but what that means is, say someone has a condo right now. I'm going to preempt this by saying you can't have two IDA loans out there at once. But say someone has a condo right now and they didn't use IDA and they want to rent that condo out and buy a new primary residence to live in, they could actually rent that condo out, use IDA to buy that new primary residence as long as the financing types allows it. So you're the expert on lending. Generally, you can't have two FHA loans, from my understanding, but talk to Tish about that. But yeah, if someone has a property now and they don't have IDA on it, they can actually rent it out and buy a new primary to live in using IDA. That doesn't mean you can't use IDA more than once. So if you used IDA and you sold that property, you can use IDA more than once. But yeah, you don't have to be a first time home buyer. And there's a lot of people that are, maybe you're locked at a nice low rate, right? So you don't want to sell that property. And maybe you can generate some rental income. So maybe rent that property out and upgrade, because that rental income, Tish will tell you, probably help you qualify, right? It depends on your mortgage payment now, but yes. So that was a long answer to your question, but I like to give scenarios where, oh, I didn't know I could do that. So
That's right. Well, I think that's all the questions I have right now. I will definitely, definitely, definitely have you guys back. I just wanted to announce that for those that are not aware, because it's a brand new program that rolls out today. And so, if you've got any questions, again, you can always reach out. Thank you, John. Is there anything else that you wanted to add? Or
no, I mean it's just we have plenty of funding. Not to bore people. We raise bonds, right? We'll take funding from different stores. We raise bonds, so these programs aren't going away. We have money. Reach out to Tish. She knows, she's up on it. She knows our programs well. She knew about the HFA1, but she's going to be your best lending partner. For those that don't know, we don't review anything. It's all done through Tish and her company. She makes sure she qualifies. You don't have to apply through us. You don't have to wait to hear us. She'll make sure you qualify. They actually front that $10,000 program. Tish's company actually fronts that. And while you're sitting back in your new house, then they're getting the money back from us. So you don't have to wait on us to give, you don't have to wait at the closing table to get that money. Tish's company has it and they know you qualify for it. So they get it back to us. I mean, we get it back to them after you close. So you're not going to be
smooth process.
waiting. Yes, smooth and it's smooth as can be. Yep.
Yeah.
So I think that's about it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And if you've got any questions, reach out tishgriffin.com, and we'll talk to you later. Have a good one.
Have a good one. Thanks, Tish.
Thank you.